Welcome back, everybody, to another episode, New Tales Retold. I think it's episode number 28.
Yes.
And this week, we have a very fun episode of Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron. What if?
Might as well better.
Yeah, right. We got
the name fits better than
right. It's
the
just
actual
not gonna
movie.
use the same name from the movie. Then we got a couple things. A good look at Overwatch 2, little skirmish that the professionals did for Overwatch, and then some comic talk.
I believe it was the Gladiators versus the Washington Justice.
Yeah.
And the Gladiators versus Washington Justice for the Overwatch 2.
So, yeah, which starting off,
two very fun teams to do it.
Yeah.
Two teams that would love to experiment and do different
true.
things.
This is true. But yeah, we could go into that first. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. 5v5. Overwatch 2 is 5v5 now.
Yes. I don't know.
Totally different. Missing a tank, which is hard to like figure out when you're a player because you were currently playing the game with two tanks. It's like you can't really picture how it would be with one tank.
As two tank mains sitting right here.
Yeah.
Whose favorite thing was to duo on tank.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
I know, no more Zarya Rhine or Winston Diva, Orisa Sigma, it's all gone.
I'm not too sure how I feel about it so far. Watching it, it felt too run into each other's face and fight. At least from what we've seen, there was no strategy to what they did. They just fought.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the game mode they gave us was the new game mode push.
Yeah.
Having that robot guy that they pretty much across the map, they push either way. I'm assuming as long as someone from the enemy team isn't on pretty much the point, it gets pushed in the opposite direction.
No, so the way
right?
it works
Is that how it works?
You go up to it, you basically cap it, and then it pushes until
like
the
King
other
of the Hill,
team,
but movement, but the hill moves.
And then the other team has to go near it too to recap it and get it to move the other way.
Gotcha.
So let's say you cap the point and it's moving forward. I never touch that. Even if you're not near it, it's going to keep moving.
Okay.
And pushing forward, at least from what it looked like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hope they give the big robot guy some skins. Looks awesome.
His name is Two.
Two, yes. You gotta give Two some skins. But yeah, I see what you mean. It was very
team deathmatchy.
You know what's funny? You can almost say it's almost say it's very similar to Apex in that way, where you can work as a team, play as a team, dominate, or during a fight, you guys could be running around all over the place.
I mean, yeah, but I would have liked, though I do like the diversity in what they did, I would have, and from what it seems like, they still played competitively.
Yeah.
During this, they wanted to really get all aspects of the game, and that's one of the biggest things, especially to pros, is how is it going to work at a competitive level. Now, my biggest problem is watching it. It was literally just brawls. Mm-hmm. It's basically they took Overwatch 1, took one team comp, and made it the entire game.
Yeah, because we even saw the different tanks being used to show that they can all brawl. Ryan was in there, which is the obvious brawler. We saw Zarya, we saw Diva, we saw. I think that was it. We actually didn't see Sigma. We didn't see Winston.
I don't think he wasn't there. I don't think he was allowed to be played.
We saw Orisa for a little, I think. I think we saw Orisa for a quick moment. I think it was like
break one person went for one life died and switched.
Yeah. They probably noticed the changes weren't drastic, so they were like, I'm going to play someone else.
It's virtually the same thing. My thing is, in Overwatch 1, team fights worked in stages. You had the poke stage, the rotation stage, and then you had the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But so far from what I've seen, seems in this game, it's just the fight.
Yeah, you guys are kind of playing back and forth.
There's no strategy to it. You just go out, you brawl. Whoever has the better mechanics wins. And I'm not a big fan of that, because
whereas the first one was a lot of plays. We're gonna set up for this,
I feel like
Zarya this, and
that whole aspect of the game is what made Overwatch unique.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like all these other FPS games where you just gunfight each other. No, there was strategy to it. There was teamwork to it. There was a lot more. And for this, all we saw were combos. Nanoblade, Nano freaking Beyblade, and it was just like, ah. Saw fucking Sombra EMP with Rhine Shatter,
Yeah.
but it just felt like chaos. It felt like it was just people running around shooting things. It felt like Call of Duty. Like I
Yeah.
was watching a Call of Duty match, but with different styled people.
Yeah.
Instead of everyone looking like regular military soldiers, everyone had their own unique style. But it's I don't know how I feel. I do like that they are bringing the whole idea of taking characters and just making different versions of them. I felt like in the first one they were trying to make characters too unique, and it kind of fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're making Sombra just another tracer where you can choose either one.
Yeah,
I
but
like
this
that.
the both their kits can have their pros and
Yep,
cons, so
like
it's like
Genji, Sombra, Tracer, they're all the assassins going to the back
mhm.
line, kill the back line. They all do the same thing, but they're all different enough where they feel like you're playing a different character.
Yeah.
It's not like you're literally taking the same kit and just slapping it on another
Mhm.
look.
Which speaking of Sombra, we got a few character changes. Sombra
Mm-hmm.
being one of the main ones. Her hack she hacks quicker, but it lasts for a shorter amount of time. And on top of that, it even applies a 50% damage, like damage increase, like damage done to the hack target,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know. I felt like she was broken before. It's like if you can't run and you get hacked by her, you're dead. You're like you're really
I was thinking the same thing, but then I started to sit there and actually process what I was watching, what they were doing. Sombra's got outplayed a lot. The Sombras were getting outplayed a lot. The biggest thing for them was actually their EMP.
mm-hmm.
That was a total game changer for
Yeah,
them.
because then the whole team. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's
Yeah.
another change. So on top of that's just her ability, that one target takes 50% more damage. For her ultimate, just saying this for the people
Yeah.
that may be listening and don't know. Um, Same thing as before. She just like it's an area of hack, but now everybody caught in the hack takes 50% damage, which
Now,
is
let me
insane.
like explain that a little more. The 50% damage taken is only for Sombra.
So for her ultimate, that's
It's
good.
the same
So
thing.
for her ultimate, only she applies the 50% more
Yes.
damage to everyone.
Yes.
Mm.
So that 50% damage boost does not go for her teammate. She's the only one. At least that's what I was reading, and that's what I was hearing from when they were talking about it. She's
Yeah,
the
because
That's
yeah,
what they
because they
said.
were talking about it during.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what they said
that's what I
too.
remember hearing from them. That she is the only one that takes advantage of that. She is no longer a support in the DPS slot. She is a DPS character, and she's like Tracer. Her abilities are for herself, not for her team. Obviously, the hack does help her team, but it being only 1 second isn't
Hmm.
significant enough. Only for some momentary things like a Rhine Shatter, things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. You catch him
Yeah, like literally the
mid
moment she
swing.
hacks that Ryan, you slam, bam. It's like it's cool,
Yeah.
and I do
Yeah,
like that.
and then we got Reinhardt.
Though I do
Rein.
think they should have just made her support because we need more support
Yeah,
characters.
right. Reinhardt, another big change. Two fire strikes, which is crazy. I mean,
It does the same amount of damage.
considering whenever you had a BAP window,
Yeah,
throw a
that's
fire
what I was.
strike in
That's what I
there.
was wondering. It does the same amount of damage.
I don't know. That I don't know. I didn't look into the stats, right? I haven't
We
looked
have
into
to look into
stats.
the stats
But
to
and
figure that
then
out.
on top of the two fire strikes, he even has power steering. He can steer himself on his charge and cancel his charge, which is something I think
He's the drift king.
Every Rhine main has wanted that charge cancel.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's so annoying because a lot of it. It's funny because yes, you can grab people in your charge, and especially if they're squishy, you can take them out with that one charge. But it's also very useful for just travel for such a slow character to get back into the fight and to help their team out, especially if they're the first one dead and now their team's brawling out and trying to survive without the Reinhardt. It gives that Reinhardt the capability to to get there and get back into the fight.
Yeah. One things that they mentioned, the commentators mentioned while it was happening, was picks mean something now, which I do
Yeah.
enjoy, because in the old game you can kill half the team
And
Then
then
you can still get
the
wiped.
other half will end
Yeah,
up still
still
clutching.
managing to wipe you.
Mm-hmm.
Though I think is also good because it
Yeah.
goes to show the skill difference. But the problem with Overwatch 1 wasn't the skill difference; it was the characters they were.
Yeah, it was like, oh man, we were
Who
about
was-
to lose. Oh, but he's
But
Sigma.
Brig just rallied.
Yeah, but Brig, yeah.
It's like, damn, Brig just rallied.
No, and now she's unkillable. She's just gonna kill.
So it's like, but like, I do like that aspect of both. I do think picks should matter, but at the same time, you should be able to carry. If I'm, let's say I'm playing, and though I doubt this will be something real, and I'm better than the entire other team, I should be able to carry my team.
Yeah, especially if you're better than the entire other team.
If I'm better than the entire, I should be able to carry my picks.
It seems like in this game you would be able to do that though.
But at the same time, it's weird because the moment someone died in the game, the team got wiped.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Every
gonna be
fight
it's gonna be character
in this little
dependent.
skirmish. They were getting wiped the moment one person died. I think there was only one fight I saw.
They were playing very on top of each other.
Yeah,
though.
they were.
Very competitive,
Yeah.
like especially in
Very
the beginning. Which I'm sorry.
I think they were just having fun. I think
to
that's
go on
probably
to
what it
another
was. They just wanted to
change.
brawl.
Yeah, to go. I'm sorry, but to go on to another change, they started off immediately with Bastion.
Yes, and Sombra.
Bastion's
yeah.
biggest change, which is pretty cool. He can now move while he's in his turret.
And it's like an actual ability, so it lasts a certain amount of time.
And the cool thing, he shoots very, very rampage like from like in Apex, just boom, boom, boom,
yeah, it's
boom,
regular
boom,
fire now.
boom. Mm-hmm. And then his ultimate is a full blown mortar, which
did decent damage. When I was looking at Reinhardt's health, it dropped a significant amount.
yeah, and it
that
also
was squishy. They would have been so much.
They would have been eliminated. That's cool.
I don't know about eliminated, but they would have done a shit ton of damage. Granted, it seemed like he was just trying to ult to get the fuck off Bastion.
Yeah.
Because no one was in the fight when he ulted. It was literally the team standing
It's probably
there.
just him wanting to see it too.
What is his ult like? I want to switch. Let's ult.
Which when you looked at his ult, it was very Doomfist like.
Yeah,
you chose where you wanted to land land the mortar and. But what's funny is that I think that was what gave Bastion the issue to begin with. The fact that he had no more mobility. So it was like they switched. They gave his ability mobility, right?
Yeah.
But then took the mobility off of his ult.
Yeah, they did, but...
So I'm not sure how that's going to work.
I think it's a really cool change because... it adds a little more strategy to playing him rather than, hey, let me sit here and shoot.
True, and now you can actually move with him, though, too. You can have that Orisa, that bunker.
And at the same time, you also have to be smart. You can't just drop in front of the team and you have to hide and go somewhere.
True.
Another thing that would be kind of interesting is to make it kind of more of a, you can't just do a Junkrat and drop in front of the team in mortar. Is let it do damage to himself, a little bit, some type of damage or stun, or something.
Can't just drop it on himself.
Yeah, because you can't pull a fucking
Junkrat,
jump in the air, ult up, and then you land on top of them, bam, and then you kill them, and you're there, and then you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't see it working. Honestly, he still seems very weak.
Yeah, we're probably still gonna see a few
characters.
changes to him. They need to do poor Bastion. One other change that I did notice, I had read, but we didn't get to see. May's gun is no longer gonna freeze people.
Okay, so I'm reading here that they did confirm that his fire strike does a bit less damage.
Oh, Reinhardt.
Yeah, so it's not the 75 hit. Two of them. That would have been. That's what I was wondering because that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
You instantly kill Tracer.
But yeah, May's gun no longer freezes, and from what we know, a lot of those stun
removed.
Yeah, removed or changed. We didn't see I don't know, what do you call him, Cowboy? I'm kidding. We didn't see McCree.
So from what I'm reading, they're in talks of calling him McCloud.
McCloud. It's just weird. Like, I understand.
I understand the change.
Yeah, I understand, but
it's gonna be really
so odd. It's like
his
getting used to calling him.
So
name's
well.
McCree. Yeah, it just fits.
It fits so well, Jesse McCree.
Right. Why'd that guy have to be such an asshole?
Why'd they have to come out and say that? They could have kept it to themselves. Let his name still be McCree. No one ever knows why he got his name.
Yeah,
But they
right.
had to mention it, which is understandable why they changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to just give him the name. It's another thing to purposely name him after that
Right?
guy.
Yeah, it's like lesson learned. Stop
Yeah.
naming characters in your game that you want to last for a long time
After,
after people that you don't know them fully.
but then again, they thought they did.
Yeah.
People thought they did, but shit happens. Fortunately, turns out people.
Do grimy shit.
Yeah.
And then another change, Winston. So really cool change. So apparently Winston now with his bubble, his team will be able to see the health to his bubble.
Alternate versions Arya.
And yeah, and his alternate shooting was like Zarya, which just brings a whole different aspect to him. Now he's not just like, hey, let's dive here, dive here, dive here, and hopefully we're close enough for Winston to do some work.
Well, towards the end of Overwatch 1, the way you played Winston was you keep diving in, earn as much ult charge as you can,
And then
get killed, come back, and then just keep doing
Just
that with the
crowd
nano
control.
until you get primal rage and carry.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's all it was. It was you get nano to get your ult, jump in, get nano, get some ult charge. Okay, do it again, get your ult. Okay, jump in, get primal rage, carry. That was literally how it was when it came to playing Winston towards the end. There was no, oh, we have to make sure we cut these people off, separate them, dive these people. Nah, it was just go in there, die, get your ult, carry.
Get your ult, carry.
And it's just like, come on.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like it's still better than jump in there, shoot at each other for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Wait till someone dies. Okay, now push.
That's so true. That's so true. And one other big change, which they played her, but the camera, they weren't really on her too often. Zarya. Zarya now has 2 bubbles, which she did have 2 bubbles, but the difference is she can choose to throw those 2 bubbles, let's say on herself back to back, or throw it on 2 teammates. So it gives a little more, and it's not just, hey, 1 bubble for me, 1 bubble for you guys. Especially when you're 1 person and there's 5 other teammates.
Yeah. The one thing I love about that is it makes her more aggressive, because when you were watching it, from what I saw, or at least from what that camera angle shown, they never once used both bubbles at the same time. They always had a bubble in their pocket just in case.
Yeah.
While using that secondary bubble to do plays and do different things. And it brings a lot more to Zarya. It's just not like, oh, I'm taking damage, let me bubble. Oh, you're taking damage, let me bubble you.
Yeah.
Or it's like, it kind of gives more of aggressiveness to her in a way, which she needs for Overwatch 2, but she didn't really need for Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
Overwatch
really 1.
Imagine her with 2 bubbles in Overwatch 1, bro.
Yeah. It's been a while since we played, but I remember the last time playing Zarya and just consistently being on that 100% damage charge.
That's
and
because we play
melting through people.
And people just shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally all you have to do in
Diamond,
plat.
Yeah. Plat and Diamond. It's just, Diamond is a little better, but it's just like, it's still glorified plat. That's what it is. It's plat people with better mechanics. And it's just, playing Zarya at those ranks were kind of easy. You just play with your Rhine, get your charge up, beam people.
Yeah, for real. Everybody. And then we actually did get a few cool changes to pretty much everyone. I guess you can say to each class. Healing or support, now they have a slow health regen.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. I think Mercy was the only one to have that in the first one. Our DPS got some movement increases, which is pretty cool. And then our tanks all have steadfast. They all are like Reinhardt, where they're a little harder to budge.
You take they less ult charge when you fight them, when you do damage to them, because they have more health. You get less ult charge from attacking tanks.
I mean, and they're just
brawlers,
huge.
no longer tanks, brawlers.
Yeah, brawlers.
They literally put the name brawler, literally telling us, oh, there's one strategy in this game, brawl.
Maybe that was just the issue with the first game. They were trying to throw too many.
But that's kind of dumb. Look at all the great games. Let's put one example. A game that's doing awesome right now, Apex. Granted, there are strats that are meta, but there are so many different strats you can do, and they fit really well. And I felt like they were trying to do that over. Though, okay, this is the biggest thing with games right now. They want to make every character playable, every character meta, every character top tier. That's the issue.
Yeah.
What I think personally they should do. Granted, this might be easier said than done. I'm not a game dev. I don't know how easy it is to
Yeah.
do this and make balance changes like this. But you should have a set of characters that are easy to play, but have a certain skill cap. These characters, like for example, Brig, very easy to play, but she shouldn't be viable in top tier play
Yeah.
because she's easy to play. Now, put a character like Ana. Ana should be top tier, but because she's very difficult to play. But when you play her right, you can get so much done. She has been so much value.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a direction Apex is going away from, which is very sad. There's a direction they were going in, then decided not to. And that was something I feel like Overwatch 2 should do. Pick the roles, pick the niche of these characters. Let some characters be viable for casual play, and some characters be viable for competitive play. It'll help you with your balance, because then you don't have to worry about Brig being OP and high level of play. Or someone like Brig or May being OP and high level of play, because they're easy to play characters. So don't make them good and high level play.
Yeah.
Let them be the fun characters that you go and quick play and you'll have a blast playing, because it's just fun.
Yeah.
But when you go into competitive and you want to get serious, you should have those characters that you want to get serious for and are hard to play, that force you to learn the game more, not just do whatever.
Yeah, I remember that being a consistent issue with the first Overwatch. Them wanting to make every single character even. Make every single character like, hey, you can just pick a character, and no matter who you pick, it'll just work.
But yeah, and it's just like, honestly,
I mean, hey, they achieved that goal if they wanted, I guess, for
that's
Overwatch
true.
2.
Yeah, not really, because the freaking OG characters were still basically unplayable. But the problem, which I could see the reasoning behind wanting to go in that direction, because going in the direction I said, you would have to take a look at the beginning of Overwatch, where they kind of were doing that, and because of that, dive was the meta for way too long.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, dive was the best. In the beginning, Genji, Tracer, Winston, Diva, Lucio, and I believe it was Zen or Ana. And that was the meta.
Was DLC.
That was the meta right there. That dive comp. I think it was Zen. It was Zen, because I remember Jonak was going in season 1. And that was the meta. And that was the meta for way too long. And so I understand why they wanted to go in that other direction, but at the same time, you're hurting the competitive integrity of your game. My thing too, one thing I had to laugh about is, we kind of skipped past this, but I should have brought it up earlier. Was the roles.
The roles?
The roles, yes. They were giving each specific roles passives. Yet the first thing they said when they announced Overwatch 2 was they wanted to get rid of the idea of the roles.
Oh, yeah.
Yet they're giving each role a passive to better fit their role.
I mean, they probably figured that with the way the game's already structured and how everything is, it's like you can't run away from it. You already implanted it.
Yeah,
like,
but it's just
done.
like, exactly. Yet they're still trying to get rid of that aspect, because brawlers are just DPS with more health. Which was literally what everyone was complaining about in Overwatch 1. Something that everyone didn't like about Overwatch 1, that the tanks were becoming just DPS with more health.
Yeah,
everyone was complaining about that, and they decided, hey, for Overwatch 2, that's exactly what we're doing, guys.
I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully we get some more gameplay soon, and hopefully we get an actual release date soon.
Yeah. I hope they decide to go back and add more mobile aspects to it.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe this was just like a little tease, and maybe they just did this on purpose. That's like, we haven't really had people play it. Let's have some people play it. See what we can tweak. See what we want to.
I feel like they were forced to, because Blizzard is honestly.
Yeah, because Blizzard's like, what's going on, bro? You have all these different games dominating, and like, this is the time. Esports is really, like, I'm pretty sure if you used to look at statistics and percentages, on paper, esports is probably going through the roof right now. So it's like, come on, like take advantage. It's kind of what people that are into crypto and NFTs are arguing. Like get in now because you're gonna be left behind later if you don't. It's like yo, get on the esport game now because if too many big games and too many like you're just gonna be that second tier game that everyone watches when the other games aren't playing.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, it's funny because of how games have been lately. I've been more happy with them taking their time.
Yeah, man, this whole...
But for the fact that Blizzard is coming up to them, like, what's going on, guys? Makes me a little suspicious on what they're doing. Like, it kind of seems like Blizzard went up to them as if they were wasting time.
Yeah, they're like, yo, you've been sitting on this game for mad long.
Because think about it. Since that first time they showed us gameplay of the story mode, for, 2 years... Nothing was announced. Yeah. Nothing was shown. And the next time they showed something, it didn't even look like they progressed.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we changed the what do you call that? The character
the models.
And
then next time they show us, hey guys,
gave us a trailer, which was pretty cool.
Here's a little more detail on these character models. Yeah. Like, okay, where's the rest of the game?
And like, oh, we also changed the gun sounds.
Oh yeah, and guys, we're changing some characters. So what are the changes? Oh, we don't know yet.
Right, and even the ones we have, what do we have? 4 character changes: Ryan, Bastion, Sombra, like just a handful of people.
Seriously, they said they want to do significant changes to everyone, and so far they've only announced less than a quarter of their roster.
Yeah. I don't know, but let's see. Honestly, I'm really eager to go on to the next thing because the next thing was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I feel you. It's just like it's just very disappointing because my friends got me into Overwatch. It's funny, and it took them a while. Get me into Overwatch. I think a year after its release is when I got into it. Maybe it was a little less than a year after the release is when I started season 3 or season 4, so it was pretty early on when I started playing Overwatch, and I fell in love with the game almost instantly. They had me play it, and it's funny too.
Could never get past
the way they did it. The way my friends got me to play it was one of my friends, we share accounts with each other, and he bought the game. He was like, bro, download it, play it, we'll play together. We did. I literally in the beginning, it was all me and my 6 friends playing full squads, and
that's why, because you got a taste of it the proper way.
We started playing season 3, season 4, which in my opinion was almost the peak of Overwatch.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I loved it. Not only the gameplay and how fun everything was, but the lore and the designs of all these characters.
I loved the lore.
Amazing.
The lore was so awesome.
And now we're in season 30, and the game's uninstalled on my PlayStation.
I know. I actually did re-download it the day before yesterday.
I have it on my PC, and I played it a little bit on my PC, but even then, I played it again with a full stack with my friends. I was bored.
That sucks.
I was bored. It's like, I wanted to play Genji, but I was like, nah, because I already know if I pick Genji, I'm just going to get smacked around.
By someone just
decided
completely
to just play
hard
tank,
counter you.
And even with playing tank and having Azari, playing Reinhardt and having Azari by my side, who was literally doing everything to keep me alive, I was getting tossed, literally tossed, literally moved around. Reinhardt with steadfast. I was getting moved around. Stunned, moved. It was torture.
Yeah, that's
I
why
used to love playing
get
tank,
rid of all
and
this
now
PC.
It was dreadful. I was just getting bullied left and right. And it's funny too, because I was surviving and we were winning.
Yeah,
it just felt like it felt like the entire time, the entire game was just, okay, keep the Ryan alive while he gets bullied, while the DPS just try and hopefully do something.
Yeah.
Which is like, luckily I had one of my friends who's a Masters DPS player, so
he
was
carrying, he was
doing stuff.
Cool. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with Overwatch. Hopefully it's good stuff.
Yeah.
But to go on to the next big thing, and it's funny, this thing, oh man. So what if?
You're
what
welcome.
if Ultron won?
I thought you were talking. We're going to go into the comic. I forgot we didn't even talk about this yet.
Yeah. Ultron.
Wow. We were on Overwatch for a minute.
What if Ultron won? And it's so funny. It's like we foresaw this we saw this story kind of coming. We were speaking about this a few weeks ago of how the MCU just didn't give Ultron his justice and didn't give him his what he could have been capable of, which is taking over the world,
Yeah.
like, and not just a city. Like, I mean, granted, yes, his goal was to destroy the planet with that city, but it would have been a little more cool to see it exactly how What If did it,
Built his
where the
army.
whole planet was destroyed and you see people trying to survive, and he got his Ultron minions flying around. Like,
Yeah.
that's how the comic was. That's how Age of Ultron was. Like, he won.
It was Age of Ultron.
Yes, Age of
Not
Ultron, not like here's a few hours of Ultron. Like, like what the, like, come on, man. But yeah, so
my biggest thing with these
mhm.
what ifs, honestly, is, and which is honestly, if I think about it now, it's just an MCU's problem in general. Is they either explain things very stupidly, or there's no explanation at all. Like, how did Ultron kill the Hulk?
Yeah. Well, let's get to that. So the problem, Ultron won, right? They didn't really. What's funny is, before we get to him beating everyone, did they specifically say what decision happened? They didn't, right?
No, they just said Ultron
That
won.
Ultron just won. He just
Yeah.
managed to get Vision's body, and in that scene,
That's what was the quote unquote decision.
Yeah.
That was the changing factor. Instead of Tony and them stealing Vision's body, Ultron was able to successfully upload himself into the body.
So I imagine in that scenario, that means Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver weren't in that room at the moment, right? Because they intervened. She Scarlet Witch stopped the lady from being controlled, and the scientist. So yeah, big moment. It was so weird though to see Vision speaking without his voice, without Paul Bettany's voice. I was sitting there like,
Paul Bettany's voice.
yeah, that was
Really? Someone James Spader, right?
No, that wasn't even James.
I'm saying they should have or even James Spader.
They tried to have someone do a similar voice to James Spader, but you can't imitate James Spader's voice, man. His voice for Ultron was perfect.
It was awesome. He did
perfect.
Great.
But yeah, he takes the what's funny is he takes over the planet with just the Mind Stone. Like, I mean, he's an AI.
With the full vibranium body.
With the full vibranium body on top of a vibranium body, because he like threw another like extra piece of armor over that Vision armor.
That's when he had the reality stone.
Yeah. But in him taking over the planet, like, yeah, you talking about him defeating Hulk, and then also leave the question: how did he defeat Thor?
Yeah, because did they actually go against each other in the movie? Did they actually?
I mean, Thor did start fighting Ultron a bit. No, it was Vision that fought him.
Yeah, Vision came. Hulk was. Thor was just fighting his little bots, while Vision came through with Scarlet Witch, and they were fighting Ultron. Thor never actually went up against him.
From what it seemed,
yeah, he said, "Is that all you got?" And Ultron was just flying there. He said, and called in more drones to fight them.
Okay, but check this out. Hulk is probably the main person that I'll leave the question mark after this explanation, but I guess they never really explained how powerful the stone is in regards to, just say, destruction, him doing the little laser thing. Because for all we know, when we saw in Age of Ultron, he was legit melting Ultron's vibranium armor. When him, Iron Man, and Thor were shooting, it was melting. Remember, he was just sitting there screaming, his face was getting all... Yeah, the armor was breaking apart.
His body was made of vibranium?
Yeah, in the end, in Age of Ultron, remember, he met with Claw.
Yeah, but I thought that's what Vision's body was made out of.
You're right.
Not Ultron.
Not Ultron. You're right.
And even then, it would make sense. They use heat to melt the metal to shape it.
You're right.
So even if they were doing that, it's not force that's breaking it, it's heat that's melting it.
Yeah,
which is understandable. Which I can imagine.
It's
kind of if his body was vibranium, that would have to be super hot, because I would have assumed vibranium has a really high melting point.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be the strongest metal in the comics, but yeah, seeing what the laser can do, I'm assuming Ultron is just he just wants to kill everything that's alive. He doesn't care who you are, what you are. So he probably pulled up to the Avengers and just full, like, for all we know, he didn't. If this was rated R, he would have probably pulled up and cut everyone's head off with that laser. Whoop, done. Who's next? Like, cause he's not there to talk. He's not there to
Yeah.
debate. He's not there to, what are you gonna give me to keep you alive? Like, no.
But that's the thing. That's how Ultron was. He was cocky,
Yeah.
and he would have been like that. He would have went up to them like, explain to me why I shouldn't kill you right now.
Like, gain some enjoyment out of it, out of
Hulk
you
is
trying
understandable,
to.
and Thor is understandable because they're not debating, they're fighting.
Yeah.
They don't care. So, but I feel like, and Iron Man, he hated Iron Man. He would have killed Iron Man no matter what. The other ones, though, I don't know. Like, it makes sense why Natasha and Clint survived. They were the
They're the sneaky
Yeah.
sneaks.
Cap. I could see being a little stubborn, but
And
at the same
wanting to
time
take
being
the fight.
smart about it, not just going straight at Ultron.
But from what it seemed like, they didn't even have time to prepare.
From what it seemed like, they lost to that broken machine that first pulled up.
I don't know. That's the issue with these episodes being like 15 minutes. It's like we don't really have a context of like
Yeah.
time passing. But the biggest thing with his little laser, which honestly, it really showed the difference, right? So he starts off, he takes over the world with just that stone, and then right when he's done with planet Earth, Thanos pulls up. Thanos pulls up with the rest of the stones, and like a dumbass, he wants to be this macho man. Let me haha, I'm here. Big difference between him and Ultron. He wasn't willing to kill the entire universe. He was saving the universe. Whereas Ultron was like, no, I'm killing everything. So the moment he came, Thanos thinks I'm gonna, I'm the man. I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
like, and Ultron doesn't play that. Ultron's just willing to kill. He saw the other stones. And he was just, all right, cool, boop.
I thought it was so dumb. I thought it was really dumb.
You know what's funny? The only reason why I find it dumb is because you dedicated an entire saga to Thanos and what he was capable of and the impact he was going to bring. And then ever since then, in this multiverse saga, you're making him seem like he's useless.
Yeah, literally.
The stones,
He I don't know. First of all, they gotta explain that laser. Just how strong is that laser? Because
that's
Corvius
what made me
Glaive-
think.
And how fast is it? Because Corvius Glaive easily reacted to it and blocked it with his spear.
I'm sorry, to get into what you're talking about with the Hulk. That's the reason. It's Thanos dying by the laser that made me think, okay, then maybe the Hulk could die by
But the Hulk
it
has
too.
regeneration. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing with the Hulk was, yeah, you can damage him, but his regeneration is so broad, like it meant nothing.
Yeah.
And then another thing too is if Corvius Glaive is fast enough to react to that laser, Thanos should easily be able to react to that laser. Thanos had five stones.
But should Corvius Glaive be able to react to that laser?
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes, he should. And Thanos should be even better.
You see, that was my thought. I was talking about it the other day, and I was like, if Thanos would have just pulled up guns blazing, not whole, oh, let me make an appearance, just pulled up ready to fight, that would have been one hell of a fight, and he would have obviously won because he had 5 of the 6 stones.
But that was the point of Thanos. Thanos could pull up like that and whoop ass. He can pull up with his guard completely down, but you'll come at him, he'll still fuck you up. But no, not Thanos anymore. Then Thanos, you can have a nice argument with him, and
Right.
you can bring him to your
Laser him
side.
in half.
You just you couldn't look at him and shoot a laser at him and cut him in half. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like it's just they're literally taking the things they built up and just ruining them, and then taking some of the stuff and making them even worse.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to get to that. So he takes the stones, and then honestly, I loved how their imagination of what he can do with the stones. I thought that was pretty cool. Like obviously, it's not cool destroying the
He
galaxy,
did more than Thanos.
but they showed like, man, he what he do with Captain Marvel when Captain Marvel tried defeating him. Like they were in the core of a planet. Like, and then from there he destroyed multiple planets around. Like they've showed it wasn't just Thanos snapping and like, oh, like they actually showed detail. of what the stones can do when he just created his whole army with the reality stone in one swoop.
Yeah.
Like I was like, holy crap, this is gonna be crazy. But that was the cool part. That was the cool part, and it's also I guess because he's AI, and it's like I think, like we said, it's a short show, so we don't know the time that passes. But the way Ultron was speaking was as if time was passing, and he was evolving as time was passing, especially being connected to the stones. Like he was evolving even more.
I mean, yeah, time has passed because think about that time different from Age of Ultron to Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly. Because Ultron, yeah, that's right. Because Thanos pulled up. Yeah. So it's like he was just evolving, and who knows? The stones are supposed to be. How would you word it? They each represent like the core
aspect elements of the existence.
So imagine an AI like Ultron fully developing into that.
Thought of something.
Mm-hmm.
How did Thanos get the Space Stone? If it was on Earth, and the Time Stone.
He did send the. Huh. I mean, granted, he did send the Black Order prior.
But they would have came through, and the first person they would have saw
was Ultron. And Ultron should have. If Ultron defeated everyone on Earth, he would have had the Time Stone because he would have defeated.
He would have had the Space Stone. Man, just defeating Shield alone gives him the Space Stone.
Yeah. And then defeating Doctor Strange would have given him the Mind Stone, which that alone would have been a nice fight. I'm pretty sure of all the people there, he would have been the one to stand his ground the longest. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to it. Because I'm about to mention another, like, big WTF, like, huh? Because after he does all that and impresses us with what he does throughout the galaxy, his evolution brings him to a higher consciousness and is able to literally hear and detect the Watcher as his dumbass is announcing him, seeing him.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was hilarious
because it happened after he grabbed all the stones.
Yeah.
So he basically had the power of the universe in his hand. It makes sense that having that power elevates you to another level. But why didn't that happen to Thanos?
Because remember, he was sulking with these stones over time and evolving with them. Thanos.
No, over time. That shit happened like almost instantly in the show.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. We don't know how much time passed in the show, like you said. When Age of Ultron first started to Thanos coming, that's Age of Ultron to Infinity War.
No, I know, but I'm saying he grabbed the stones from Thanos, and while he was messing with it, the Watcher was talking, and that's when he turned around. Who are you? As he was grabbing the stone, made his armor.
No, that was when he won. He was like, I did it. And he's just looking around.
That's what I mean. And then he created the army.
No. I promise you. It was in the scene where he defeated the galaxy. It was right after he destroyed, let's say, that timeline. He's sitting there like, I did it. And he's like trying to kind of taking it in. And that's when the Watcher was like, oh, and then, all this time with this, and then he will see another, and then that's when he's doing the narration as he's hearing him.
They actually did give us an idea of the time period, because...
Did they?
Think about how long would it have taken Natasha and Clint to find this guy? Wouldn't have taken them that long. There was no...
so true.
There was no hint at them aging between this whole show.
It didn't even show
within the show. So it's like not much time has passed. Granted, you can argue the whole space and time thing. He was in space, so it was,
time's different. Yeah.
But let's just keep it as simple as possible. Not much time has passed on Earth, meaning so there wasn't much time between all this. Because it seems like they connect time on Earth to time everywhere.
Yeah.
Time passing on Earth means time is passing everywhere.
Yeah.
In the MCU apparently. So there wasn't much time. He was with the stones for a little bit. And you can argue that, he was already more involved than Thanos. But Thanos was a genius. Genius. Who was a master at every type of science there was. And in the MCU, magic and all this space stuff is science.
Yeah.
It's not magic. It's not actually
it's
magic.
Like a type of science.
It's science. So you would think Thanos would reach that level with all the stones too. But he didn't.
And then again, also, Thanos got the stones, did his mission, and then just left them. Didn't even bother using them anymore.
Yeah.
He was just
He
like,
didn't
all
even
right, I'm
didn't
done.
fix his arm.
Yeah, I know. Dumbass. But yeah, so we get all this. We get him detecting the Watcher, which is pretty crazy, unexpected. But then another big question mark moment is when he finally does find the Watcher.
Wait, before we get
Mm-hmm.
into that, that happened. That happened before he fought Danvers.
No, that happened after.
Yeah,
Before
he
that,
fought Danvers, right?
yeah. Well, speaking of Danner, I'm glad you went back to that. I'm really glad how they went from the last episode showing Captain Marvel and her power and how strong she is to going to this episode and showing, well, to him, she ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like, she's strong, yeah, but there are stronger people. There can be stronger people,
Yeah.
which it's a good thing because I feel like they've been hyping this up. Captain Marvel is strongest. It's like,
Whoa.
and honestly, it's getting me kind of annoyed because
Yeah.
in the comics, she is not the strongest
No,
person. Like,
she's not.
there
She
will people
has
that will
her.
slap her.
They do her flaws so perfectly in the comic book.
Like,
And another thing too is one of the biggest problems with her character and why it's so unlikable. How many times has she lost? The only time she's lost,
well, Thanos punched her out of the rest of Endgame.
yeah, but technically she won. They won.
Yeah,
And yeah, she got punched, but so did more than half of the Avengers.
yeah,
They got their ass beat worse than her. And then after that, the only time we really saw her lose was this.
mm-hmm.
This is the only time she lost. Like it's can't really relate to someone who wins everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's a totally
Like, it's hard to like be hype about someone who's you see them fighting and you're like, oh, they're probably just gonna win. Like no, we want to see that struggle. We want to see them grow and get stronger. We don't want them at their strongest already.
yeah. And
We
it's
want development.
what makes it more annoying is the character even knows it and then carries that cockiness,
Yeah.
almost like Tony. And it's like that
Which
cockiness
is awesome
that
'cause she
Tony
was
had.
like that in the comic book.
Yeah, but it's like, but like you said, it's annoying when she's
yeah, give her that cockiness,
yeah,
but that doesn't mean she has to win all the
yeah.
time because she's cocky.
It's like yeah, as long as you're cocky and confident, you'll win. You got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, like look what they did to Thor in the first Avenger. He clashes with Cap's shield, a mere human, and it stuns him. Like,
Whoa, like
whoa.
what is that?
And now, if she would have done that shit, she would have been like, "What? You did that shit? Punch
Yeah,
you!" Like,
Mhm.
so no respect, nothing. She's literally just an unlikable
she's not a
character.
warrior.
She's just an unlikable character overall.
Deadass.
Like,
That's probably why they did
it's
it.
one thing to make her personality not likable. It's another thing to just make everything about her unlikable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, that's probably how she wrote, how she's written, and if that's how she's written, actress is
Hopefully, there's
doing well.
progression in that. Hopefully, and we
Yeah.
get to see her starting to lose, and I wouldn't even care if she humbles up or not. I just want
Well-
to. I honestly want to see her lose so she can start to gain some type of development
Yeah.
and not just be a stagnant character that's just called upon when they need it.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like they're treating her like
A
the way
scapegoat.
they treated
No, no,
Sentry in
not
the
a scapegoat.
comics.
Um,
No, they treated her. They treated her like how
A
they
trump
treated.
card.
They treated Sentry. Every
Yeah.
time there was a big moment where it's like, oh my god, we need like the strongest
But
person.
the-
Get Sentry, hurry.
but the thing about
It's like-
Sentry is he wasn't this almighty, all powerful
Mhm.
thing that can just come through and just win the fight for them like Captain Marvel does. He struggled.
Yeah.
Not physically,
Internally,
but mentally.
yeah.
He struggled. There were times where he didn't go out to fight because he knew he couldn't, because he couldn't control himself. But Carol Danvers, nah, fuck that. Oh, you
That's
need my
true.
help? Bet I'll whoop anyone's ass.
That's true. One little
And
thing
then,
to
and then
point.
she does.
One little thing to point out that they gave us was they flipped the roles for Natasha and Clint and their deaths.
Yes.
Had him
Sacrifice
jumping
himself.
down. Yeah.
He had the robot arm.
But yeah, their solution after the world was destroyed was for Natasha and Hawkeye to have the Dr. Zola's old program kind of hack into, I don't know shit about computers, so I don't know how much of that makes sense.
Yeah, he had an
Um,
old program hack into a completely evolved AI that had control over every piece of technology throughout the entire world, possibly even the universe. And this one man who's been stuck in a computer since the 1960s was able to hack into him and almost do a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. That scene was confusing. I guess maybe they just wanted some way to bring Zola in. I
Maybe
don't
like
know.
even or even just put even a simple oh, he evolved too while being in there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like
something, right? But it doesn't even matter because they do all that for
for nothing.
nothing.
Because
Um,
Ultron was the hive mind who wasn't even in the universe anymore.
yep. Because in that moment, that's when he's fighting the Watcher.
Mm-hmm.
He's in between the universes or whatever you want to call it, the void or whatever. They didn't really give it a name, but
They didn't give it a name.
yeah. But now, okay, it's cool. He's evolved, conscious. He's the Watcher. We finally get to see the Watcher in action, which is pretty cool, or at least defending himself, which would be like every monk, like non-interfering, person.
Yeah, which was
But I'm
interesting
sorry,
because they never showed that in the comics.
yeah, never did, which was really cool.
Yeah.
The moment he put the armor on, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, let's go.
Whoa.
Um, but how the hell did the stones work? Like literally, that's the part that I couldn't let go of since the moment I watched it. Loki implemented that rule. The Loki TV show implemented that rule. If the stones are not in their respective universe, they will not work. How? Like, and honestly, you can't even tell me, oh, he grew past another. No, you gave us like a rule for the multiverse.
Yeah, a rule that was beyond each universe.
Yes, exactly. A rule that it made the Mad Titan insignificant. So it's like, and all of a sudden, Ultron, like, yeah, we did want to see Ultron come back at his potential, but like now, what is it? They overcorrected.
Yeah,
Like now, it's just like now you're
breaking your own
going,
rules.
yeah. And it's like, come on, like don't. It's just, I don't know. It makes things confusing.
I feel like all these writers and idea people they just need to sit down and solidify some of their stuff. Like the whole aspect of time with yourselves, get it down, and then once you have it down and an idea how you want it to work,
Yeah, like
just
explain it.
do it. No, don't explain it.
That's what I'm saying. Like have your structure, because
No, yeah,
obviously
no,
time
yeah,
travel, all
yeah.
this shit
Have
is
your
fake.
structure. Explain
So
it
it's
to
like,
yourselves.
yeah.
Make yourselves understand what you're talking about, but don't explain it. Don't explain it. Do not do what you've been trying to do. Go down and explain the aspects of time and the way the multiverse. Stop it. In the comic books, there's a reason why the comic books never explained it, and
Mm-hmm.
when they did, they stopped because they started to realize the further you go into it, the further it's not gonna. It's just not gonna make sense.
Because they tried
Because
to make time
at the end of
travel
the
and
day,
multiverse the same.
yeah, at the end of the day, none of this is real, so you can't put an explanation to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you trying to do so is just gonna confuse people.
Mm-hmm. You trying to put
Solidify
these
it in your
rules.
own minds. Do it. Stop trying to explain all this stuff. Try and put reasoning behind all this, all that aspects of it. The one thing I want explained is how people died, things like that. Things
Yeah.
you can explain, but like something as big as that, like stop
Yeah,
trying
like
to make sense of it.
because it's not gonna happen.
And it's like they now look at this. Now they put that rule in Loki, and now this thing comes out. Now you just broke your rule because
Mm-hmm.
you limited the stones.
And
That was a loud car.
Lord, that was a loud car. Um, uh, and what gets me is I have yet to see anyone online talking about this. I'm on Twitter like every day for like a very long time.
Well, it's because most of the fans that you read on social media are the fanboys that don't care for any of these mistakes.
It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. I'm like, how when are we talking about this? When are we gonna bring this up? That he's using the stones, not in his universe. And then at the end, I'm sorry, at the
Yeah.
end of Party Thor, this episode don't even make sense with that. In the end of Party Thor, Ultron pulls up to where Thor is, and the Watcher's like, oh shit, what the hell's going on here? But then now the next episode comes out, Ultron never went there, but yet the Watcher has seen him. You kind of you see what I'm saying? Like
The only thing I can think of is each of the universe actually has their own Watcher. That all of these
they
Watchers we've
do
been seeing
are different. You
are
think they're
different,
different?
even though they sound the same.
Mm.
Think about it. From what in the comic books, if I'm not mistaken, they were kind of one of ones. Uatu was Uatu of all universes.
Yes.
But
They
in
were
this
one
one,
of
doesn't seem
ones.
like they're doing that. In this one, it seems like each
No,
one has their individual
they
world.
are, because where he was, that little void area,
Yeah,
he was watching all the timelines
but
take
like you
place.
said, it seemed like it was a completely different Watcher when Ultron pulled up.
I have honestly, knowing the cartoon, they're just gonna ignore the ending of that episode and
Yeah,
act like this episode is
yeah.
what really happened,
Mm-hmm.
which is like we've been saying, this show has been kind of bringing
Because
things back and
that's
forth.
something you can. That's something you could have explained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just have it like me. I don't know. Explain. Maybe he
Like,
saw him
are
coming
the
from the
from what I
future or
know, the
some shit.
Watchers aren't beyond time.
No, they're not.
So you could have made the idea, oh, he went back in time before the Watcher knew about him with the Time Stone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't make sense because he's going to another universe.
Yeah, not even. They were fighting. Like, so when they actually start fighting, and Watu got his armor on, like, they're literally punching through through the multiverse. Like they're throwing each other through the multiverse, and then it's like, I don't know. That whole fight, I'm just thinking about the stones. Like, how are you doing that? And then granted, how are you doing that and no one's
Yeah.
noticing in any of those
Well,
timelines?
before we continue, I want to add a little context to this. The reason why we're so bothered by all of this is because they did confirm that all of the What If episodes are canon.
Yeah, that this
So
show
it's
is
like-
canon to the MCU, so
yeah,
it's like,
so it's like you're gonna make all of this canon. You're gonna make all of this a part of the actual MCU, and unlike Visions, which was all not canon,
mm-hmm,
you're making all of this canon, and in this canon, you're breaking your own rules.
mm-hmm. Yeah, like it doesn't make sense, and then honestly, this whole thing, if this is canon, this should
Significant. This is
affect the live
huge.
action MCU
Yeah,
drastically.
this is huge, and unless they're making this a part of the multiverse of madness, which is kind of cool. Maybe we can talk about this in the future in next week's episode. I only saw the title of it, and it was a video. I don't remember the account. I wish I did, but the title said what moment truly broke the multiverse?
Oh yes, I did see that. It was I saw the
It showed
thumbnail
all
of
it
that.
was Loki, WandaVision,
Uh-huh.
Doctor Strange, Spider-Man.
I feel like
and-
it's just as Kevin Feige's favorite word, the culmination of of all the moments. I think would end up being that, like, they'll probably have that nail in the coffin moment where, like, this was really, they'll tell us, that was the moment.
Yeah.
But
Because even in that conversation, we can go more into Nexus beings,
yeah,
why Wanda was more significant, then go into Loki's on why that was significant.
Mhm. And then hopefully this gives us a significance as to why, and
And
hopefully
all
this even
Spider-Man
gives us
2 and
Ultron
Multiverse
back.
of Madness 2 also explains a little further
Yeah,
as to what broke the multiverse.
this is true. This is true.
Was it because it's like they're making it seem like it's more than just them passing the threshold
Yeah,
from Loki.
yeah,
It's making it seem like it was more than just that broke everything.
yeah.
Especially from what it seems like they're purposely lining all these events up with each other. Remember the time for
Mhm.
WandaVision was exactly the time for Loki. Like they literally lined up perfectly with each other from that crossing the threshold and her
Yeah.
doing that whole thing and making her little realm.
We gotta pay attention to that in Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
Maybe in that
and
moment when he
Spider-Man.
does the spell,
And
it's
Spider-Man.
at the same
Wait.
time. It's Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm sorry, Spider-Man.
No, because in Spider-Man it takes place years after
Yeah,
WandaVision.
true.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. But speaking of Doctor Strange, the episode ends with him, Watu, pretty much in a way not being able to hold his own
Yeah.
against
sorta.
this new evolved
Well,
Ultron.
not really, he ran.
Yeah, he ran and just slapped and then choom, disappeared and then goes to get help from the evil Strange. Well, I
Not
guess
evil.
formerly evil
Yeah,
Strange.
he was evil, and remember,
Yeah.
it kind of stopped when he absorbed himself back.
Yeah, it's like his good side came in
Yeah.
and he was like,
Yeah,
what am I
because
doing?
she said she purposely split it. The ancient one
Mhm.
said she split it from him.
So that's gonna be crazy, man. That's gonna be Owatsu, and then honestly, you could probably say the more buffed up Doctor Strange. He absorbed all those beings. He still has all their power in him.
Well, yeah, he's super brolic. He was evolved just like Ultron. He was
Yeah.
able to hear the Watcher.
Yeah. So that's gonna be
Watch her
one hell of a
move.
fight.
Watch her knew how strong he was.
Yeah,
I just love that moment though, because he's like, "You're not a god, neither am I."
yeah. It's funny that he's like, I want to hear you ask me for help. It's
Yo,
such an
you said I
asshole.
wasn't a god.
Right? You gotta love Doctor Strange, man. But yeah, I guess we'll see what the significance to the MCU is. But the next thing, our next thing, this Darth Vader comic, 2020 series,
Yes.
it's still running.
Still going,
It's still
yeah.
running till to this day. I haven't read the last, I want to say 2 to 3 comics. I've only I've only read up until pretty much where the movies are. Like, let me rephrase that. I've read up to where we got a hint of what's to come in the future.
I was gonna say yeah, because Vader
Yes,
has been dead for
it's been
years.
dead,
And it's
yeah.
like,
So look, our comic starts off. I'll throw a little detail in if you want to like kind of buff it up a bit. It's just it's just a moment. This is happening just after Vader asked Luke to join him in taking over the galaxy. Luke said no, and now Vader's on this mission to actually try to find out what happened to Padme.
yeah.
And he goes, and it's pretty cool because throughout the comic we get those different panels of like flashbacks, and it's literal flashbacks from the movies, from the prequel movies, and I'm like, this is so awesome. They even have the characters and everyone look like them from the movies, and it's great. And he goes back to Padme's old like place when she was running things, and we see one of her doubles, which in the comic and initially they don't tell you it's a double, and that's exactly how the comic ends. So I can't imagine if you were one of those people reading this comic week by week or month by month,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, Padme's still alive? What the hell? But then in the next comic they explain that it's one of her doubles. And then we even see some of the people that were helping her. I don't remember a lot of their names because a lot of them were kind of, I guess you could say, minor characters, but people from the prequels that were helping them.
Yeah, like
what was
the
it?
soldier.
Yeah, when
her
they were
little security guard.
Do you remember his name?
I don't remember his
I don't remember his name, but in this he has a. I don't remember. Did he have an eye patch? Because he had an eye patch now.
He didn't.
Yeah, he had an eye patch now. Which, granted, think about the time that's passed.
Yeah.
So, Luke's a grown man. Like,
Luke's a grown man in this comic?
yeah, because this comic takes place right after he asks Luke for his
Luke
help.
wasn't a grown man at that time.
But like he's not a little boy. Like he's an adult.
Okay.
Like he's an adult. Like he's in his
17,
teens. Yeah.
18, yeah.
Now you're gonna verse you a grown man. You're 17 years old.
True. I don't ones at 9.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's grown. But yeah, he finds her and finds a lot of those other minor characters that were in the prequels, and then they all wind up having the same mission. What happened to Padme? It's mind blowing because it reveals that Obi-Wan didn't tell anybody.
No, they said Obi-Wan didn't tell anyone.
They didn't. Okay,
No.
I'm very like I haven't watched the Star Wars movies in a while.
You have to remember, he didn't want everyone to know Anakin betrayed the Jedi Order because that would have people would have lost
broke it.
hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because Anakin was the hero of the Clone Wars. Imagine that, the person who everyone looks up to, even the soldiers, the hero of the Clone Wars, and you come out and be like, yeah, he betrayed everybody. Like, how do you want to like have hope after that? Like the person who you thought was gonna stop this caused it.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest mind blowing part is like, so he gets to the place to try to find out what happened to Padme. He sees all of them. Then it winds up revealing they're on the same mission. They want to know what they want to avenge Padme, and then they reveal they also want to avenge her guardian, Anakin Skywalker, and you're just there like, what? Like, and then you're reminded like, holy crap, that's right. No one knows that Vader is Anakin, and he's standing right in front of you, and you're talking about how you want to avenge him. And the great part is, you start to see that Vader was having that pull toward the light, little bit here and there, when he sees the double in the comic. The way they depict that he's like looking at her, it's like
He was falling in love again.
Yeah, he was falling exactly. He's seeing Padme again, and he's just like he didn't want to hurt her, and in fact, he was willing to protect her. And willing to go on this mission with all these people who were by his side.
His enemies.
Yeah, but they were his
Yeah.
allies at one point. He was fighting by their side at
Yeah.
one point. So it's like, and now we get to see it again, and they go on this little mission again, and it was pretty cool. I forgot I was damn. I had a really good segue into the next thing too, and I fucked it up super hard. But interesting enough, he does all this against Palpatine's will. Palpatine was not a fan of this mission at all. And this is where it gets confusing, because I remember we had this discussion. It winds up being, in this comic, we wind up seeing that while Vader was alive and around, Palpatine was working on this army and this whole project that he was working on in the Rey story. How much time has passed since Vader dying to the Rey story?
A long time.
So it's like,
it was a long
I feel like this comic was a way for them to try to save the movies.
Of course,
like,
they gotta have. At the end of the day, these movies are not going anywhere. They're
Yeah.
canon, so they gotta have to do what they can to
Mhm.
fix, basically. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much fix the shit that people don't like.
So,
Shit that came out of nowhere.
do you want to put more context as to what I'm talking about here with the with what Palpatine was working on during the Vader comic?
So, it was just like in the movie. He had that whole place in Exegol, which was said to be a place only Force users, mainly Sith, can go to using the not the holocrons. What did they call them? I forgot.
No, I think that's literally the name.
That wouldn't make.
No?
I guess not. No, I'm saying if it is, it's just weird because holocron was just a device used by Force wielders to store info. So it's like the fact that they put this whole rule where there's two of them and only these specific people, and that's just weird. Then it's like a key to get you over there.
Because Vader.
That's not what a holocron was.
Mhm.
A holocron was literally a thing for information. There were holocrons everywhere made by Jedis and
Yeah,
people
kind of like a
that.
USB.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, kind of like a USB. And yeah, because even in like they had one of the holocrons had a list of Jedis at one point, a list of future Jedis, people, Force sensitive people, and basically he was just building this army because he wanted to do one big swoop and take over everything, and that includes the Outer Rim. So Jabba's place, the freaking gang's place. He wanted to take everything in the galaxy. And that's why he was setting this all up in Exegol, in a place technically only Sith Lords can go to. It's just technically only Sith Lords can go to, but he has an army in there.
An army of normal people too at that. And
unless they were born, raised there, and never left there.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
And that would make sense.
But the biggest like confusing part to it is, which we don't get a sort of any explanation at all. When we saw it in the movie, right? You see the clouds and you see all the ships there, and in the comic book, there's literally like a creature guarding all that in space. That Vader in this comic shows some feats that are unheard of. For example, what's the name of the big lizard that lives that we saw in the movies with Jar Jar? Remember? They were like, the only the sea creature.
Oh, like those Leviathan.
Yeah, those big ass sea creatures.
I remember.
That apparently they're the dominant species of the ocean, and nothing else can eat it other than a bigger one of the same species. And Vader winds up being the first person on paper to actually kill one. And then his robot companion, like to remind him that he just decreased the fertility rate for them by 83%. The extinction,
So,
God.
In the beginning of this comic book, it said this happened during what movie?
It didn't specify. Literally the comic starts with Vader talking to Luke
and so that
about
was the
joining
first
him.
fight, and that was when he was hanging, and he was like, "Oh,
yes."
So that happened in Empire Strikes Back, and I actually was watching back into it, and that whole description is exactly how it happened in the movie. He told him, "I'm your father. Join me," and he said no, and he left.
Okay. Yeah,
So
because they.
nothing was changed so far
Okay.
from the movies to the comic book.
Okay.
There's no
So my thing
differences.
is Exegol, like, so.
That was just they added that
Yeah, because
because
they
it
were
wasn't in
like.
the old
Yeah,
movies.
because they were like, how do we make this make sense in the movies? Oh, let's write a comic series, make it seem like Palpatine has been working on it the whole time since Vader was alive, actually.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess. But the cool thing is,
It's
one.
a better
Hmm.
explanation than he got all these ships so fast and built so fast.
Hmm.
No, he didn't. He's been working on this since
Since Vader
forever,
was around.
maybe
Yeah.
even before, for all we
Yeah.
know. Because remember, in that part of the comic books, he had a bunch of ships already made and
Hmm.
finished.
And then another detail they add is he has a giant kyber crystal. That's how he's
Yeah,
powering a lot
yeah,
of this, and it's like it's an enormous crystal. We don't see any of that in I don't know. I think as good as the series was, and the series left me like on my toes because I'm watching it, reading it. I swear, whenever I'm reading a comic, it feels like I'm watching a movie. Um, yeah, I'm reading through it, and like it's cool and all. We're really seeing that struggle with Vader, good and dark.
yeah. It's something that he's
Um,
always struggled with,
yeah,
which is cool because something they didn't really go into much in the prequels.
yeah, they
Not
didn't at
prequels, the
all.
originals.
It was. Oh yeah, the originals.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
never really went into that much. It was just the
until what
end.
the very end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Return of the Jedi was when he was kind of going that back and forth, trying to
yeah.
fight with himself. But other than that, he was just evil.
Mm-hmm. So and yeah, that's where we get here. We get him that back and forth, but it's an awesome comic. I love the artwork. I love the
Vader is such a savage.
Vader is a complete savage. I love it. Like it just
That bounty hunter went to kill him, and he was just like, "Shut up, okay? Now I'm gonna tie this on
yeah.
you, and you're gonna be my pet. Let's go."
And what's funny is, and throughout this comic too, where we get that we really see the issue with the Sith, with them consistently betraying one another.
Yeah.
Because Vader this whole time he asks Luke, "Hey, join me." Vader already has in his mind, I need to at some point get rid of Palpatine.
Yeah, he had that since the beginning.
Yeah, and then Palpatine has the same thing in his mind. I
You
need
don't
to at some point get
you
rid
don't
of Vader.
remember in the movies, in the prequels, he tells Padme, "We can get rid of Palpatine. I'll have my own empire."
Mm-hmm.
He was from the beginning. He was planning on not removing Palpatine, and it's understandable, and it's why Plagueis, Palpatine's master,
Did the
right? Is that Plagueis? No,
yeah.
yeah, Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Plagueis. It's the reason why he hated the ruler too, because he felt that's what it brought. It brought that competition that made
Mm-hmm.
Sith wanted to kill Sith.
Whereas, yeah, because they look at Jedi, there's multiple Jedi. Everyone there's
With
a
only difference,
balance.
Jedi don't really
Yeah.
care for power.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to, at least.
Yeah, they're not supposed to at least, right? Um. Yeah, I'm gonna continue it. I don't know where I'm up to. It ended right with pretty much this whole thing because Vader goes on his quest to find out what happens with Padme. Palpatine gets tight because he's like, "Yo, that wasn't your mission." So his punishment was, "I'm gonna cut off your arms and your legs again,
Bring you back to
and
Mustafar.
then I want you to figure out how to pretty much get to me." So and on top of that, he sends the bounty hunter, which Vader uses most of the things to his advantage and is able to conquer
Told
through
him
all
not
of
to
it.
use the Force either.
Yeah, and told him not to use the Force, which in the end, he does it anyway because he thinks to himself, who the hell are you to tell me I can't use the Force because it's Vader? He's thinking to himself,
Yeah.
like, fuck off. Like, who are you? Which was Palpatine's plan. That's exactly what Palpatine wanted. Palpatine was like, I need a strengthen. I gotta buff you up again. You get a little squishy on me. You get a little soft. So,
Which is funny because Palpatine, unlike the other previous Sith Lords, didn't accept that his student would eventually kill him.
yeah.
That's why he tried so hard to be immortal.
Mm-hmm.
See, in the old ones, more often than not, if the student did surpass the masters usually accepted it. They took the duel. They died with honor.
Yeah. Palpatine refused. He was like, hell
Palpatine
no.
refused. From what I was reading, Palpatine had so many apprentices, and he did not care for them at all. Let them die. Maul, Dooku
Yeah.
was just two of them.
Dooku was a perfect example.
Dooku was awesome, and I wish they would have gone into him a little more in
Yeah.
the prequels. I think they do have a comic book about him, and I want to read because he said some pretty.
You read my
interesting
mind
stuff.
because I was thinking that reading this, I was like, man, because the prequels, the old movies are cool, but it's like not visually appealing as much as newer stuff. So
I don't know. I feel like
well,
the
for its
prequels looked
time,
better.
yeah. I
feel
mean,
like
for
the-
its
But I feel like the lightsaber battles were so subpar in the sequel.
well, I'm just thinking about like seeing Vader again.
Okay.
Seeing
Well, Rogue
Vader
One,
again, and yeah,
that was
like
amazing.
so reading this comic was refreshing, getting to see
Yeah.
Vader and getting to dive into it. But yeah, that's all we got. We're not talking Carnage today or Venom. I keep calling the movie Carnage because it's introducing Carnage. But well, one, because we haven't seen it,
Oh yeah. we'll
and
see it
two,
next week.
I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about talking about it 2 days after, or like 3 or 4 days after it came out. Half of fans probably haven't even seen it yet.
I mean, I was scrolling through YouTube yesterday, and someone
Spoiled.
already posted the clip of the after credits.
So disappointing.
Literally, and it's like it's not like there was a thumbnail blocking it saying, "Oh, spoiler after credits." No, it's literally the first thing was the picture was the spoiler. So
Of
the
course
first
it
thing you
was.
see
It's
the
a
spoiler.
thumbnail.
And it's just like, damn, really? What if?
Uh-huh.
And it's funny too, because that account I don't even know, never seen that account. I don't follow that account,
And it just came up.
and it just randomly came up on my feed. Luckily, I was already spoiled with that. I already knew what the after credit was, but it's kind of fucked up to people that didn't.
Yeah. I think what happened with this thing of like, hey, when something comes out, you only have 3 days to watch it, and if not, we're gonna spoil everything.
It's because people don't understand that sometimes it comes to schedule, even
Yeah.
money. Not everyone can go see it the first weekend.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that people have this mindset, oh, if you're a true fan, you'll find a way. No. Life comes first.
Yes, absolutely.
Life comes first. No matter what you're a fan of.
Like,
Life comes
I
first.
worked all weekend, I couldn't
unless
see it.
that is your job,
mm-hmm.
understandable.
Yeah, exactly.
Understandable.
Exactly.
Your job is to watch those movies. I can completely understand you're gonna watch it your first weekend.
You're probably
but-
getting paid to go see it.
Yeah. But it's just like you expect all these people who are fans and you consider them not real fans because they literally can't see it that
Mhm.
first weekend. Like, nah, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, give people time, a week, honestly.
That's another reason why I didn't want to do it yet. I'm like, even though yes, other pages and other people do it, I'm not gonna be that. Well, I don't want us to be those people. I don't
Yeah.
want us to be that.
And it's just like, honestly, I feel like even a week can be argued because someone like
it's
us,
90 days in theater.
but think about it this way: someone like us who have worked literally a week, 2 weeks straight,
Mm-hmm.
who
Just
have
on
like
the grind.
literally working all day, every day. It's just like we understand that sometimes you literally don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally all you have time for is to come home from
Yeah.
work and fall asleep, wake up, go to work again.
For real. Come do
For,
your
like,
do your
weeks
chores,
straight
take care of your
sometimes,
children,
yeah.
and then
And it's
back
like,
to work.
yeah, of course, legally you're not allowed to do that, but sometimes you feel the need like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just and to bash people for doing shit to help their lives.
It's like you're being an adult. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. You're being an adult. What's wrong with you? You're choosing your life over going to watch this movie. What's wrong with you? You're not a real fan. Like,
You're not. I guess we're not real fans. But I guess we'll be real fans next week.
yeah.
Yes, if you are watching on YouTube, comment down below. Let us know what you guys think of all this stuff. But we're getting our grip of podcasting and not YouTubing.
If you
So
have
it's pretty
any
cool.
ideas of what we can talk about,
Yes,
If you guys
comment. Go on
had
Instagram,
any
DM.
shows, movies that you want to see us do an episode about, let us know, and we'll watch it. We'll get into it. We'll give you our opinions on it.
Yeah, comment, like, subscribe, follow, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Music, all that good stuff.
Yes.
And we'll
Apple
see you
Music,
all.
Spotify.
Spotify, yes.
Yes,
I always
don't
forget
forget
Spotify.
about
Spotify,
Spotify.
yes. See you all in the next one.